The human mind is one of the greatest mysteries of creation. It shapes how we think, how we feel, and how we act. Psychology, the study of behavior and the mind, tries to unlock these mysteries. But long before modern psychology existed, the Quran already spoke about the human self, the soul, and the struggles within us. When we ask, why do people act the way they do? Why do we feel love, fear, jealousy, or peace? Why do we sometimes rise to goodness and other times fall to temptation? The answers lie both in science and in revelation. The Quran says in Surah Ash-Shams 91, 7-8, "By the soul and the one who proportioned it and inspired it with its wickedness and its righteousness." This verse reveals something profound. Every human carries within themselves two voices, the potential for good and the tendency toward evil. Psychology calls this the study of motivation, impulses, and moral reasoning. But here we see that human struggle is not just chemical or biological. It is a spiritual reality, written into the design of the self. Modern psychology shows us that behavior is influenced by both nature and nurture. Our brains carry genetics and instincts. At the same time, our environment, our upbringing, and our choices shape who we become. The Quran confirms this dual influence. In Surah Ar-Ra'd 13:11, it says, "Indeed, Allah will not change the condition of a people until they change what is within themselves." This means change does not come from outside forces alone. It begins with the inner self, with thought, belief, and choice. Psychology explains how thoughts shape emotions, and emotions shape actions. The Quran gives the spiritual foundation. Transformation begins within the heart and mind. Let us also reflect on the concept of peace and anxiety. Science shows that stress affects the body. It raises blood pressure, weakens the immune system, and clouds decision-making. But the Quran addresses the root of inner peace in Surah Ar-Ra'd 13:28. "Those who believe and whose hearts find rest in the remembrance of Allah. Surely, in the remembrance of Allah do hearts find rest." This is not just a poetic statement. Neurological studies prove that meditation and prayer calm the nervous system, lower stress hormones, and improve mental health. Faith-based mindfulness connects directly with what science calls the parasympathetic nervous system, the body's rest and restore mode. What psychology observes, revelation explains. Another powerful dimension of psychology is identity and self-worth. Many people struggle with self-image, feelings of failure, or lack of meaning. The Quran reminds us in Surah Al-Isra 17:70, "And we have certainly honored the children of Adam, and carried them on the land and sea, and provided for them of the good things, and preferred them over much of what we have created, with definite preference." This verse declares that every human carries dignity, not because of wealth, looks, or status, but because of being human. Psychology confirms how essential self-worth is for healthy behavior. When people lose a sense of worth, they fall into despair. When they recognize their value, they rise with confidence. And yet, psychology also studies the darker side of the mind: arrogance, greed, and envy. The Quran speaks of this in the story of Iblis, who refused to bow to Adam. His arrogance led him astray. Today, psychology calls it narcissism or egotism, but at its root, it is the same: an unchecked self that blinds the mind and corrupts behavior. So, what is psychology? It is the attempt to understand the human mind and behavior. But when paired with revelation, it becomes more complete. Science shows us the mechanics of thought, emotion, and action. Revelation shows us the purpose, the struggle, and the path to healing. The study of behavior and mind reminds us that we are more than brains and bodies. We are souls, tested with choices, influenced by both biology and belief. And the greatest success in this journey of the mind is not only to understand ourselves, but to align our hearts with truth, our actions with justice, and our souls with peace. That is why psychology, when seen through both science and revelation, is not just about behavior. It is about the very essence of being human, struggling, learning, and returning to the one who created the mind itself.